Welcome to Reddit on Reddit by Half Pressed, a collection of stories of petty revenge. My neighbor kept parking in my driveway, so I parked behind him and went out of town. My neighbor's been parking in my driveway for months. I've asked him not to a bunch of times, but he always goes, "It's just for a sec," and shrugs it off. Came home last Friday and yep, there he was again. Only thing was, I was heading out of town for the weekend. So I pulled in behind him, locked up, grabbed my stuff, and left a couple hours later. I had a bunch of missed calls and a text like, "Dude, WTF?" But I didn't answer it. Hope he had a relaxing weekend to think things through. Sabotaged the sabotage. Several years ago, I was trying to learn a new role at work. The problem was that my training solely depended on someone who really didn't want to train me. For context, she was kind of an awful person who would intentionally try to sabotage people to make herself look better. When I would try to initiate shadowing with her, she would, in a falsely friendly voice, chirp, "I don't have anything for us to work on right now, but we'll be sure to let you know when I do." However, days later, she would complete projects that she could have been using to train me. This went on for weeks, so I gave her a call to follow up. Clearly, this time our boss was sitting in the room with her, because then, speaking loudly and slowly to me like I was a howler monkey instead of a coworker, she says, "You know I told you that anytime you're free, you could just come to my office so I can train you." So not only am I not getting the training I'm supposed to be getting, but now she's making me look irresponsible and lazy. She had management charmed, and, well, I was a chicken, so there was no seeking direct help from them. Instead, I decided to take matters into my own hands. The next morning, I came in extra early, conveniently borrowed a chair from my boss's office so he would know what I was doing, and plopped it right down next to her desk and waited for her to arrive. When she came in, I gave her the biggest smile and said, "I have great news. My supervisor turned me loose and said that I was free to shadow you all day, every day for the foreseeable future. So I figured I'd just go ahead and be ready to go so I didn't miss a thing. Isn't that awesome?" This woman was completely horrified. Then she was pretty icy to me for several days after because I not only interrupted her paid online shopping time, but also thwarted her attempts to keep me from learning anything. It has been nearly a decade since then, but it was one of the most deliciously petty things that I've ever done. Neighbor tried to get my mom fined over our shed, so I got his $40,000 pool filled in. I live with my mom. She's quiet, keeps to herself, never bothers anyone. A few months ago, our new neighbor decided to report her to the city for having an illegal shed, quote unquote, in the backyard. It was total BS. The shed's been there for years and has full permits. An inspector came out, checked everything, and left without saying a word. But the neighbor? Smug. Proud. Thought he'd scared us. So I did a little digging. Turns out his brand new pool was way too close to the property line, and illegally built over a utility easement. I reported him. Attached photos. Quoted city codes. 2 weeks later, the city ordered him to either move it, impossible, or fill it in. He lost the whole thing. $40,000 down the drain. Literally. Now he gets to look at our completely legal shed every day, while standing over a pile of dirt where his pool used to be. Mom sleeps great now. Not my pregnancy tests. My daughter is 5, and this story takes place right after her conception. My wife and I were late to the game starting a family. I was 47 when my daughter was born, and my wife had just turned 42. So, needless to say, her biological clock wasn't just ticking, it was chiming like Big Ben at high noon. She had the thermometer, the tracking app, and all the other accoutrements that tell you you're ovulating. If you're having fertility issues, you know how frustrating and hard it can be. It was really taking a toll on my wife. She was frustrated, and that was trickling down to me. We had been trying for a couple of years with no luck. My wife had fibroids. They were removed, but we had to take a break from trying while she healed up. Then she got pregnant and miscarried. This felt like a gut punch to both of us. This and our ages had us thinking we were never going to have a family. So, I get the text at the office. Come home now. If you're trying to get pregnant, you know what that means. Then I get, can you also pick up pregnancy tests on the way? I'm busy, I'm tired. I'm frustrated about having to perform on demand like a machine. I'm at the end of my rope, and now I have to go to the feminine hygiene aisle and buy pregnancy tests. I pick up the tests and go to checkout. The place is packed, and I get in line with an older cashier who feels the need to comment on everyone's purchases because, well, it was the shortest line, and I know I'm on the clock at this point. I get to the front, and she scans the box and says, kind of laughing, "Well, these aren't for you." I respond deadpan and obviously annoyed. Clearly. She doesn't get the hint and comes back with, "Well, it's exciting and you must be so happy about it." At this point, I've had enough. I look her dead in the eye and say, "Actually, these are for my 16-year-old daughter so she can find out if her 19-year-old unemployed boyfriend knocked her up. But yeah, we're all really over the fucking moon." Immediately after the words leave my mouth, I hear a gasp and an "oh my god" from the lady behind me. The cashier's face turned a color of purple I've never seen before, and her eyes bugged out like Schwarzenegger at the end of Total Recall. I say nothing else, grab my bag, and walk out in a huff. I was able to make it to the front door before I broke out laughing. I got home, did the deed, and told my wife the story. We both had a really good laugh.